Hey everyone, before I discuss my honest review of Genetic's second master skill for Ragnarok M Classic, thanks to LDCloud for sponsoring this video. I've been using this a ton for managing multiple accounts since I need them for recording interactions from my videos. Here I have my priest following my mechanic around in LDCloud. It's a pure cloud-based Android system, and this is footage from my Android phone. I can easily swap by pressing the orange button, then choosing my other instance to access that character. Here I swap to my bard. It's smooth and I love the unlimited multi-instances, so I can control more than one character. Now it's running online 24/7, so if I need to run something AFK, I can keep it on. It's particularly good for farming since it can follow properly and be online 24/7. You can also access this from a web browser, so there is cross-platform support. If you decide to check them out, use the link in the video's description, and thanks to LDCloud for sponsoring this video. So I do want to apologize for my voice. I've been sick for more than a week and my voice, well, is not that great. But the show must go on, and who knows, I might lose my voice later. I got requests and questions for Genetic Master Skill 2, including a common question about what triggers Corrosive Mark, which I'll demonstrate in this video later on. So I spent a ton of Zeny and Job EXP leveling up the second Master Skill, so I can give you my honest review of this skill without you having to waste Zeny just to try it out. For the graphics and information, thanks to cremisi for them, I'll put a link to his sheet in the video description. Now let's begin with Corrosive Zone. It does hit quite a lot per second and lasts 10 seconds. You do have the option to select wind, earth, water, or fire. It would have been nice if you could also do ghost, holy, and dark. Now first for PvP, please be aware that Earth Field absolutely destroys this skill, unlike the first Master Skill which is immune to it. Here I cast Corrosive Zone, then it gets Earth Fielded away, so it doesn't last for 10 seconds. Now if there is Earth Field cast, it won't allow me to cast it either, so it blocks me from casting it, which is unfortunate. Next, I don't know why they decided to add a variable cast time to this skill after. Sorcerer has Spell Breaker, which causes your variable cast time to be much longer. So now you can see the cast time is horrid, which is really annoying. I'm not sure why they decided to nerf this skill even further with a variable cast time being added. Now, one last thing is it's at 60% of improved asset demonstration. I would have also liked a higher damage modifier so that in case you're just hitting someone briefly, that'll actually do a lot of damage. Because in PvP, it isn't going to realistically stay up for 10 seconds. And let's keep this in mind, for Ruined Knight's second master skill, Celestial Dragon Aura, it's 400% of Dragon Breath, which is the kind of modifier I would have liked to see. Next is Corrosive Protection, which is fantastic since it gives Chemical Protection Weapon and Chemical Protection Armor. You can also destroy enemy weapons, but unfortunately, yet again, Earthfield destroys corrosive zones, so it's hard to keep this up. Now here you can see me destroying my target's gear, and then when I stand on it, you can see the protection around me. Next is Corrosive Erosion. This is great as a PvE skill because it can increase damage to the corresponding element type. For example, here my Demonic Fire deals 29,000, but once it gets Corrosive Zone, which is set to fire, it now deals 33,000, which is a nice boost. This works on bosses, so it's definitely amazing as a support skill, since regardless of you being whale or not, you can help out your team immensely. Now for PvP, this can be pretty useful too. For example, you use fire, then it can help out your teammates such as Ruined Knight's Dragon Breath, as well as Meteor Storm, and if you're lucky enough to hit a target before Earth Field, you can be pretty helpful as well. Next is Corrosive Mark. It adds additional damage over time and also has a chance to cast a small corrosive zone under someone. Two people asked if the chance to create a small corrosive zone can be caused by any attack, so let's find out. Here I cast Demonic Fire. You can see even after a lot of time, no corrosive zones get cast. And that's the same with Auto. I keep hitting this dummy and nothing ever happens. But with Corrosive Zone, you can actually see it happen. I cast it so the left dummy is barely being hit. But now you see a small corrosive zone being generated beneath it. Now I do wish this would work for any damage, and I think this would definitely help against Earth Fields because you have a higher chance to cast this. So overall, I think if Earth Field continues to dominate the meta in PvP, this master skill is bad and I wouldn't recommend it. It gets shut down too easily, and I would instead choose the first master skill, which isn't affected by Earth Field. However, for PvE, Corrosive Erosion is good enough that it can provide support regardless of how well you are. Since I don't take PvP seriously, I will be investing in Corrosive Erosion and then use it as fire, so it will cause my Magnum Break Annabelle to deal more damage. It is a nice boost in that scenario, and that's definitely what I will use this master skill for. So overall, I find this master skill to be kinda bad. I hope the devs will buff this before they release it, otherwise I feel like people that are really into PvP will be greatly disappointed. And for PvE, I think I'd not use it for damage, but instead just use it for the damage increase for elemental type. Well, that's all. See you next time for another honest master skill to review. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Here's a video that I'd recommend, and if you want more Ragnarok M Classic content, check out this playlist over here.